Good morning, good afternoon, wherever this finds you. Welcome to the 65th Emerging Growth Conference and day 2 of our 2-day super virtual investor conference. I'm Anna Berry. Just a few notes. So today we're running until about 4:15 Eastern time. And when we switch to the next company, you'll see a black screen for a moment. That's just us moving over to the next presenter. If you experience downtime, it's always best to refresh your browser. Everything usually works properly once you do that. Now, our platform does work best on Google Chrome. So if you're watching from an Apple device, you have to hit the play button to start the session. All of our conferences are uploaded to our Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel. We would love for you to subscribe, youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. Now today, during each company's presentation, you, our viewers, can submit questions through the webcast module, and we will attempt to address as many of these at the end of their presentation. And one last note, after today's event, you'll be redirected to the registration page for our next conference in January. Please stay on or come back to reserve your spot early. Let's begin. We have Pherousa Green Technologies AS is a private Norwegian technology transfer company within the maritime industry. PGT develops its own technology and also offers consulting services to help our customers navigate through the transition to zero emissions. Happy to welcome Chairman and Partner Hans Bredrup, as well as Founder and Technical Director Vasilis Besikiotis. And they're going to start with a video, so roll it.
Our world is in crisis. Fires rage in every corner of the globe, and the Earth itself is deteriorating before our eyes. We face droughts and floods, longer and more brutal summers, and extreme temperatures that threaten all life on this planet. Even our oceans, the cradle of life, suffer from the relentless onslaught of high-polluting maritime traffic, which is so essential to our way of life today. Shockingly, the maritime industry, if a country, would be the 6th largest producer of greenhouse gas emissions. As you grow, so does your environmental footprint, but we believe in innovation, in breaking down barriers. That's why we introduce you to Pherousa. Pherousa is a beacon of hope, a harbinger of change. We employ cutting-edge technology to replace fossil fuels with green ammonia. Ammonia is a carrier for hydrogen, an untapped source of pristine energy. Together, they empower us to revolutionize shipping, making it cleaner and more sustainable. Ammonia saved the world once as a fertilizer. It might do it again as a hydrogen carrier. The road to a sustainable future begins with investments in clean energy. We proudly stand in Chile, where ambitious goals drive us towards a greener horizon. By 2030, Chile is poised to become the world's most competitive green hydrogen producer. Chile is setting records in solar energy and will do the same, producing green hydrogen for the world. Our role is wide and deep, and at the heart of this transformation lies Pherousa, named after one of the myriads from Greek mythology. Contact us today and be part of the change our world so desperately needs.
Whenever you guys are ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna, for having us at the conference. I'm Hans Bredrup. I'm the chairman of the company. And I would like to introduce Vasilis Besikiotis, who is the founder and our technical director.
Yes, hi, my name is Vasilis Besikiotis. I'm the founder of Pherousa Green Technologies. The company was founded back in 2020, and we are a technology transfer company dedicated into the maritime industry. Thank you very much.
So, do you want to give a few words around the background of the company, Vasilis?
Yes. So Pherousa, the name comes from the Greek mythology, is she who carries. What we do is that we looking in ammonia as a hydrogen carrier, basically to solve the hydrogen storage challenge that deep sea shipping has. We have developed a technology that cracks ammonia into hydrogen, and we are the first ones to deploy a technology that can convert or can build a deep sea vessel fully electric, therefore having no emissions emitted from the vessel. Pherousa was founded, as I already mentioned, back in 2020 by myself and my partner, Tony Thorsen. We developed an ammonia cracker, which is based on a 20-year already proven technology from our shareholder and partner, LBO. Pherousa has the IP rights for the use in maritime industry. We have developed and proved the feasibility of the concept back in 2022, and now we are in a phase where we are scaling up.
So basically, we are going to scale up the prototype, which Vasilis says was ready in 2022, a 10 kilowatt prototype. We're going to scale it up to a 400 kilowatt pilot, which will be tested real life at sea on board a ship. We are looking to raise $6 million, basically to cover the scale-up costs of the cracker. This is something that hasn't been built before, so it requires work with Class Society and with other technical partners. We will also look to build up a technical organization, and Vasilis will come back to this later on in the presentation, but the cracker will supply a fuel cell with hydrogen. The fuel cell will provide electricity to the ship, for which we also need to do a fuel cell adaptation between the cracker and the unit. The company today is majority owned by the two founders, Vasilis Besikiotis and Tony Thorsen, and myself. We also have our technology partner, LBO, which is a subsidiary of Swedish Metacon, as a shareholder, and we have our scientific advisor also in on the shareholding side. And we are looking to open up 25% of the company to new investors with the fundraising.
So, as Hans already mentioned, we are already in the process where we fundraise for $6 million. What we want to do is we want to move from the proof of concept to a pilot unit. On the slide, you see the timeline, which basically demonstrates the evolution all the way from a concept to a real-world application, so that we can ensure the availability of the project for commercial use. As already mentioned, we have built and proved the technology. And now we are where we want to gain real-world validation. Therefore, we want to build a 400 kilowatt unit that will be installed on a vessel. In that way, we will do risk identification, risk mitigation when needed, if needed. We will get, of course, valuable user experience, also validate the efficiency of our system and our concept in real life. Of course, we are working together with Class, therefore we will have a Class on board in order to do the regulatory compliance. And of course, main outcome of that will be the confidence we will give to our investors and stakeholders to commercialize the product and be able to grow the company. As you see, the split of the budget is mainly going into hardware and scaling up from the 10 kilowatt all the way to 400 kilowatt. This is more than half of the budget, and the rest, of course, is the running cost that we are needing in order to cover this activity.
So to go through a little bit of the background of the market, we are focused on the deep sea shipping segment. Deep sea is any ship that is traveling the ocean for more than, call it 7 days. This is where we see that ammonia will especially have a big impact on cleaning up that part of the maritime industry. There's a lot of pressure from IMO, the International Maritime Organization, and other authorities to reduce the emissions in shipping. There are alternative fuels that are more advanced time being than ammonia, such as LNG and methanol. There are new buildings being ordered and floating on the water of LNG, and also methanol coming up. The issue with LNG is that it reduces about 40% of the emission versus conventional fuel, and the methanol is reducing about 60%. So we are not getting to a point of eliminating the emissions. This is where, as Vasilis has said, the only way to get to zero emissions is to use hydrogen. Hydrogen is, of course, an issue with storage, so that's why we are using ammonia as the storage for hydrogen. And this is the only way we can reach the target of reducing emissions. If we look at the targets that I mentioned, by 2030, there is a worldwide target to reduce 40% of emissions. 2030 is 5-6 years away, and the shipping industry is only now waking up to the fact that something has to be done. And by 2040, there is another further 70% reduction, and by 2050, 100% is the target. Until July this year, the target was to go 100% net zero by 2100. It was taken forward to 2050, and this revolution is going forward quite quickly. And the way we see it, hydrogen is the way to reach zero. And if we act now, if we scale up our pilot, and if we put this into production, we can probably get to zero emission on our ships by 2030.
Yes, here on the graph, you see the different available technologies as of today that they are in order to decarbonize the shipping industry. Most of them, if not all of them, are around net zero. However, indeed, we can have net zero as if we use green methanol or other biofuels. But the brutal reality is that that vessel still produces CO2. From all the available technologies that they are carbon-based, we do see that the vessel still emits a considerable amount of CO2 when you compare it to what is conventional out there. If one wants to reduce dramatically the CO2 emission, then you have to move away from that fuel. And what is already available now is engines that they are burning ammonia. However, ammonia does need the help of carbon-based fuel due to its characteristics. So therefore, you will still make 11 tons of CO2 per day. So yet, you are not to zero. However, with the technology that Pherousa has developed, we are actually to absolute zero. We have no CO2, no SOx, and no NOx, simply because we use hydrogen as our fuel to power the vessel. Next. So let's see a bit more in detail our technology, what we are actually doing. So basically, the vessel will be filled up with ammonia in its tanks. Then we will use our proprietary technology to crack the ammonia into hydrogen and nitrogen. We purify that mixture from any ammonia traces that may be present. And then we use that mixture to power the fuel cells. The fuel cells are in essence batteries that, as long as they are fed it with hydrogen, they are able to produce electricity, and their only byproduct is water. So truly zero emissions for the vessel when it sails.
So we describe the Pherousa opportunity as a unique investment possibility. We have a proven concept by the prototype, which we are now scaling up. And we have the proprietary rights to the technology. And we are basically now integrating our technology with suppliers of PEM fuel cells, as Vasilis said, to produce electricity on board a ship and have full electric propulsion of the deep sea vessels. Our partners around our technology, we work with Metacon, which is our technology partner. Metacon owns LBO that developed the cracker technology, and we have a shared ownership, as Vasilis mentioned before. They are owner of the land-based technology, and us ourselves of the technology to be used at sea. We work with Teco 2030, which is a Norwegian stock-listed company producing PEM fuel cells specifically designed for the maritime industry. We are working with Delta Marine, which is a recognized Finnish ship designer. Basically, we are taking their existing ship design of conventional vessels, and we are adapting that to use our technology and become fully electric seagoing vessels. Another important aspect, which is not to be forgotten, is that on ships you have a crew, and security of the crew, the safety of the crew is the most important aspect. So we have early teamed up with OSM Tome, which is a Norwegian ship management company, to have them prepare the crew to handle ammonia on board ships. Of course, it's not to be forgotten that ammonia has been transported at sea for 100 years. The important role ammonia has played as a component in fertilizer has made that it has been transported, and there is experience to handle ammonia. However, we want to have also the crew prepared on the handling of ammonia through the cracker. And last but not least, we are working together with two of the world's leading class societies on ammonia, American Bureau of Shipping and the Norwegian Veritas. They are both working with us to make sure that the implementation of our technology on board the ships are done to the fullest safety standards. The organization consists of, beyond Vasilis, it's Tony Thorsen, who is the co-founder. Tony has an extensive shipping commercial background. We have Professor Marnellos, who is our scientific advisor, with long time research work on the ammonia field. We have Maria Paz de la Cruz, who is a power industry expert. She started the Chilean Hydrogen Association in Chile, in South America many years ago, and is also a board member of the Global Hydrogen Association. On the board, we are accompanied by Ms. Siri Horn, who is a lawyer. We have Mr. Christer Wikner, who is the CEO of Metacon, the Swedish stock-listed company owning LBO. And we have Mr. Kent Pischuta, who is also, same as Tony, having a long, extensive background in the shipping field, which is very important when we combine our technology with the industry. So with that, we say thank you, and we give the floor back to you, Anna, for whatever questions you might have. Thank you.
Great job, gentlemen. Yes, thank you so much. We do have some questions for you. We're going to start with a little bit of a deep dive. So Ananya Srivastava asks, what ammonia conversion is the cracking system able to achieve? How is the unconverted ammonia dealt with once it's removed from the system through the hydrogen purification system?
Yes, thank you very much. And this is a very relevant question because it's very much related to the efficiency of the whole process. We are very proud to say that when we were developing the prototype and we did our theoretical first modeling, in order to achieve the efficiencies that we wanted to achieve, you need to have a conversion rate that is higher, or it has to be 99.7%. What we measured, and this is measurements, so this is validated, is that irrespectively also of the load, we are able to achieve higher than 99.3 in anything from 25% to 100% load, which is very relevant when it comes to marine applications, because a vessel will never operate at 100%. So for us, it was very important to have a conversion rate that is stable throughout the load. When it comes to purification of the ammonia traces that we may have, we use standard zeolites for that. We have tested this with very precise instruments for ammonia. We were very well below the 0.01 ppm that is needed in order to be able to operate the fuel cell. So all in all, and this is the essence basically of why we did the proof of concept and what we mean by proof of concept, it was this twofold aspects. So one is the efficiency, and one was the efficiency with the conversion, and two was the purification of the ammonia.
Thank you for that. Follow-up question from Ananya. What is the purity of H2 produced, and how does your system deal with ammonia slip, if any? And Ananya says, since ammonia cracking is an endothermic process, how is the heat of reaction supplied for the cracker or reactor?
Thank you very much. And that is also a very, very spot-on question. I mean, we're very proud to say, and the reason why we have so much high efficiencies, or the efficiency is so high, is what we call our system is a self-sustained. As Anya already mentioned, indeed, the cracking of ammonia is an endothermic reaction, which in simple words means that you need heat, right? The way our cracker is designed in a way like a heat exchanger. So what we do, in one side, we send a small amount of ammonia that is oxidized, and that oxidation produces the necessary heat that we want on the other side of the cracker to crack the ammonia. We have, and this is where our proprietary technology lies, is between how efficiently we can transfer the heat from one side to the other side, which is related to the catalyst, with the way we deposit the catalyst on the cracker. Now, when it comes to ammonia slip, we have not. I mean, I cannot see how we can have ammonia slip in the cracker because everything is happening there. If ammonia slip, that should be before coming to the cracker from the fuel gas supply system. But there is very well-established technologies that they can deal with that. They are passive membranes that you can put and take care of if any ammonia slip. Ammonia slip is indeed a challenge, but it is more when you have internal combustion engines that they come during the turn on and turn off of the engine, not so much from the cracking process. Now, when it comes to hydrogen, or the mixture that we have is basically a 75% hydrogen, 25% nitrogen. And no ammonia. The point here is that indeed in the beginning, we were thinking that we need to purify to 100% hydrogen, get rid of all nitrogen. But before doing that, we actually ran measurements where we basically saw that there is actually no point of doing that. The penalty that you pay, the efficiency penalty that one pays if you use 25% gas mixture is in the order of 2 to 3%, not more than that. So in a way, actually doesn't justify to reduce or purify any further hydrogen from nitrogen. We can do it, but this will add cost, and you will, of course, since it will add an extra process into your full, let's say, process, you will still have an energy penalty to pay. So all in all, we are very confident with a 75-25% gas mixture that we are using.
Thank you for that answer. Cody Diaz asks you to clarify, what is the purification technology? Is it TSA, PSA, membrane?
No, it's a quite passive solution that we use. We have 3 vessels filled in with zeolites. It goes through that process, and yeah, we clean it, and then we use the clean mixture into our fuel cell. What is unique about it is the way we do the cleaning or the regeneration of the zeolites, which is, of course, know-how we have in our in our process.
And Edith Todd wants you to explain a little bit more about your IP rights. So Pherousa has the IP rights. What exactly does that mean? Who owns the rights to the IP, and how is the IP protected? Do you have patents on it?
Well, as we already mentioned, the IPs are split between Pherousa and LVO, or by now it is called Metacon, where we have full ownership when it comes to maritime applications, the shipping industry, and they have when it comes to land-based applications. The way we protect our technology is through patents. The reactor is patented, and yeah, that's it.
And Neil Malone wants to know, who are your competitors? What's your differentiating factor?
Yes, as of today, there are 2 or 3 new companies that they have that they are doing ammonia cracking. One of them is very respectful, and it should be said that we are actually very happy to have such competitors into the market, because we get awareness. When we started, just a bit of a background, when we started Pherousa 3 years ago, ammonia cracking was not even a word in the maritime industry. Now there are more and more people talking about it, so indeed we were up to something. Our main differentiation factor is primarily that is the high conversion rates that we are able to achieve. I mean, maybe someone can match it, but you can't really go further. I mean, nature says it's 99.7, we're at 99.35. I mean, okay. But it's more like on the way we do. As I say, we are able to achieve very high efficiencies, and our system is very efficient simply because the way we do the cracking. We don't use any external heat in order to produce or to crack ammonia into nitrogen and hydrogen. And with that being said, the other differentiating factor one may say is that what we see is that when we talk to PEM fuel cell suppliers, because yeah, very well, you can make an ammonia cracker, but then you also need a fuel cell to use it, right? We see that we are able to collaborate, let's say, or to adapt our system to the fuel cell industry. While from what we hear, at least from the different competitors, this is a bit of a challenge very often.
Chris Carr asks for a timeline to production. Chris says he understands it'll take you about 5 or 6 years, but after a $6 million funding, what's next? What are the milestones that you need to hit along the way?
Yeah, I mean, the first and foremost is, of course, the $6 million goes for the scaling up process. We are in an extremely capital-intense industry. So I must say that 6 million is just enough. But with that being said, the next step for us is, of course, the commercialization. Before I comment on that, I would like to highlight that when it comes to the pilot, to build that, we need approximately 9 to 12 months. When it comes to fully commercial product, then, of course, down the way, as we do the scaling up, we are working very close with manufacturing to have a manufacturing process. We are in dialogue with different players. Can't disclose too much, but it's something that we are working, and our goal there will be to be able to deliver the systems based on the needs. Of course, we need to match the needs of the yards. So it is a bit more complex or a landscape that we operate. Now, the next big thing is, as if you see on our timeline, we have there, and I will let also, of course, Hans to elaborate around that. We have, what we do is like we have another spin-off from Pherousa Green Technologies is Pherousa Green Shipping, where we do, where this company is functioning as the commercialization vehicle for our technology. We are working on a project for 6 vessels, Ultramax vessels, to cater the route, the green corridor between Chile and China. And that will be, in a way, our pilot customer after scaling up or piloting has been successful. But I will leave the floor also to Hans to comment a bit about Pherousa Green Shipping, because it is important for the commercialization of our technology. Hans?
Are we okay on time, Anna, or?
Yes, we've got about a minute, so you can use this kind of as your close if you'd like to. Perfect.
Well, as Vasilis says, we have completed design phase 1. That's why I was referring to Delta Marine earlier on adapting their existing design to a fully electric vessel using our system together with TECO 2030. And we are engaging these ships up against ammonia producers and the mining industry to carry copper from Chile to Asia without any emissions. Copper is, of course, crucial in the decarbonization part in the world. It's used on electric cars, solar panels, etc. So one sea voyage with copper from South America to Asia pollutes about 3,000 tons of CO2 today. There are 250 voyages per year, and our ships can do this without any emissions. So that will be our launch client.
Wow. Wow. Fascinating time. So, gentlemen, we have a lot more questions for you, from the financial questions to the deep dive of your technology, but we are out of time. So hopefully you can join us in 2024 with some updates, a really fascinating industry that you are in. Thank you for your time and great presentation.
Thank you as well.
All right, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back with our next presenter.